Hi everybody, it's Song here, and in this video I will be doing a chipboard mini album for SaCrafters, and this is the chipboard mini album I'm going to be doing. You can get it from Sauce Exhibit Store. It's a postal stamp mini album, and I'm going to use some pink paisley paper for this. I'm going to be making this in real time, and we can all have fun together, and we can all make it together. We can make them the same so we can share with each other. We can make them really similar. It doesn't matter. Let's just do it together. So let's get on with the first page. The first page obviously is going to be the cover, and I like to keep my cover looking beautiful, and I like to keep my cover with a vibrant color. Now obviously with a chipboard piece like this, the edge design isn't really easy for you to cut. So here's the solution. We don't do the edges, we just cover it to the inside. Okay, so that's the solution, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's just measure it first so we know the measurement, and I believe it's not really a square, so we have to measure both sides. So it's 4 3/4 and 5 1/2. And 4 3/4, actually 4 3/4. I'm gonna cut one more because we're gonna use the exact same paper at the back side. In the back, yeah, in the back. So that's what I mean by not wasting any paper, because it's such a tiny mini album. You don't have to waste any of this. Now I'm going to use the back side for the back and the front side for the front. Alright. And you can choose to distress it, ink it, edge it, make it look really fancy. But like I said, I'm not that good at decorating my mini album, so I'm just gonna go for the minimal look, and I'm not going to do anything fancy with it. I'm not even going to ink the edges. Oh, well, I'm going to do a little, but I'm not going to overdo it. I'm only going to ink it with a brown color. It's Prima chalk edges. The only reason I'm inking it is just to make it look more complete. Be really careful. Okay, I think it looks good now. And I'm not going to use wet glue because it's really possible it's going to pop up or make my paper bubble up. So I'm just going to use dry adhesive for this. And I'm going to use scrappy tape, or if you have Suquan tape, it's fine too. But I'm going to use my scrappy tape instead. If I can find my scrappy tape. Okay, here it is. Now whenever you're doing a mini album using dry adhesive, make sure you have a bone folder out, because you want to burnish the adhesive after you put them on there. Now burnish it with your bone folder. I have some nails, so I'm just going to peel off with my finger. But sometimes it can really, the adhesive backing can really go into your fingernails and hurt you really bad. So if you don't have a long fingernails right now, don't do it with your fingernails, so you don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, and just eyeball it. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, it looks good. Now, let's decorate the outer part. I'm not going to make it really fancy like I said. I'm going to go for a minimal look. I am just going to add a few flowers and a few embellishments to bedazzle it up. It's not gonna be really fancy. Alright, so for the decorating part, I am going to fast forward it and do voiceover. So all I'm doing is just put on some flowers, and the big old flower is from Minor House Creations. I got it from Flying Unicorn. And the little tiny blue flowers, not houses, but blue flowers, are from Petalooz, and I got it from Flying Unicorn as well. And these are just Prima bark butterflies that I got from Discount Paper Crafts a long time ago. And I'm just placing them in the round and just work out the configuration I want it to be. And I added a Prima little zipper, and it says priceless on top because I think the priceless sentiment is perfect for a mini album. And then I went ahead and picked out several SaCrafters embellishments and put it on there. This little metal pieces is Junkyard Finding, is Prima. It's the Switches and Outlight collection. And this love sentiment is from Saw. I love this. I love her big wooden sentiment because they're really beautiful. I love the font and I love how sturdy they are. Now I'm just painting them white, and I'll be using Shimmerz inklings in color Me and Blue to paint over the piece, so the cover has a bit more blue color than just pure yellow to balance the color out a little bit. And then you'll be seeing me adding just another touch of embellishments. I will be adding 3 little leaves, and these 3 beautiful leaves are from SaCrafters as well. They're relatively new. I think Saw just came out with them like last week or something, so they're pretty new. And they're gorgeous little leaves. You don't even have to paint them or anything. They're just gorgeous for anything because they're intricate, they have details on them, and they're just beautiful. That's what I mean. And if you want to add more stuff to your page to make it look complete, you can just add a dash line around your page, and that's it. We're going to now, you see, like, it's really bulky, right? So it's really hard to put it on there, but we still don't do this beforehand, because what if I want to do something else with it, you know? So, but right now I think I'm not going to decorate this. I'm not going to put too much stuff on the back side, so I'm just going to put it right on. And I should have done it before I decorate the cover. And take your paper punch and punch out the holes. I'm going to use the ring binder thing that Saw has in her store. Now the reason I'm using that is because those rings are huge. So if you make your albums bulky, those ones, they're the ones that can hold up. And the ones you got in Staples and everywhere, they're too small for bulky album. Alright, now the back side has paper, and this cover is done. Let's move on to the second page. And if I remembered it right, the measure is 3 quarters, and 5 1/2. So we're gonna use another sheet of paper for this, and then we're going to use the leftover this piece for interactive elements purpose. So 5 1/2, or we can do 4 1/4, 4 3/4 actually, 4 3/4. And 5 1/2. I noticed that if you do it from the top down on the paper trimmer, the edge is smoother than you do from the bottom up. I don't know why, but it just seems like to work that way. Alright, and like always, cut 2 pieces because we are going to, oh, Nelly, please. I'm going to put this piece like this, and then put the back side like this. Alright, so we don't waste our paper. finish it. I think I'm going to do the top flip thing. I'm going to cut a piece of 4.5 and 2-inch strip. Why 2-inch? Because I wanted to give a space between the fold. You know what I mean here. Okay, so it's 2-inch, right? And you find the center with just 1 inch. Find the center, and you go on 1/8 of an inch each way. So now you have a 1/4 of an inch gap between the 2 flaps. That way, when you are putting photos and stuff, the flap can still close down. And we're going to do this technique for every flap, and I did this technique on my envelope mini album. So I have a paper strip with a 1/4 of an inch gap between 2 flaps on every connect thingy, on every interactive elements, because that's going to make your page close better. So you don't have to worry about putting like a couple, or not couple, but you don't have to worry about making it too bulky afterwards, okay? Because, you know, I am going to use the mini album that I make. I'm not just going to let it be a decoration. Since I don't really make that many mini albums, I will be using them. And I don't want the photos to not be able to put in there. So now you see you have a 1/4 of an inch gap there, alright, which is really good. And if you want to flip it inside like that, it's fine too. Like such, okay? And we are going to taper it. It's the same because we don't want the edges to show. So taper it. So it's not how it looks like after you taper them. And I'm going to put it on top like such. Now we're gonna think, after we do this, see if I put it like that, and then later if you want to put a paper to cover this edge is going to show. So we're going to cut it next to the circle thingy, the punch hole. So when we put paper underneath there, there will not be any of this connective strip showing, if you know what I'm talking about. So we're gonna cut a bit like that and see if it's gonna work. Okay, now I think we cut a little more. This is gonna work, and then we're still going to taper it a little bit because we don't want the edge to show. So now instead of 4.5 long, it's only about 4 inches long now. So that's what we learned. We only need a 4-inch long strip instead of 4.5 inch. Okay, good, perfect. Now we're gonna use our adhesive, and we're going to put down this piece. And if you have a 1/4 inch tape, that is perfect, because that's what we want to do. Find a place that you want to place this. Okay, like that. Burnish it down really well. Okay, now it's time for you to decide the size of the flap that will go up and down. Alright, and I think I am going to make a flap that is 4 inch wide and a 5 inch across. Okay, so 4 by 5 is what I want to make it to be. Let's cut a 4 inch piece right now. I'm gonna cut it 5 this way. Okay. See, that's what I mean by not wasting any paper. Like that. If you want to use a piece of cardstock as a base first, that is good because that way it's sturdier, and that's what I'm going to do actually. I am going to take a piece of cardstock and do the amount to cover this. So I'm going to cut the cardstock 4x5, and I'm going to cut this piece a 1/4 of an inch shorter on this and this side. And what you want to do is you're going to place your craft cardstock on there first, and you don't ink the craft cardstock edges because this is just a base and we don't want to ink the base up, just to match the whole chipboard edge thing that's going on here. Alright, now peel off your double-sided adhesive. And put your cardstock on there. Now it's good. And we're going to ink this piece. We're going to put on top of this piece. You can see we have a 1/8 of an inch gap on all sides. Alright, and that's what we want. Again, take your crappy tape. Wow, what I just said. It's scrappy tape, not crappy tape. Ugh, that sounds bad. I'm sorry. Scrappy tape is definitely not crappy. It's the best tape ever. No, I'm not that good at eyeballing, but I'm gonna try to make sure it's centered as possible. It's not really centered, but it's okay. Burnish it. So now you have a piece like that. Okay, and if you want to do the same to the back, it's definitely good because, you know, we want to hide this flap. So I am going to do the same on the back, and I'll be right back. I'm back. So now you can see we have this flap covered like that, and like this, and I put a piece of 1/8 of an inch white paper strip on here, so it looks better. And now we're left with this ugly flap thing. What we're gonna do is we're going to take a 4x5 cardstock, and I'm gonna cover it like that. Okay, so it's a folded mat like that, and you're gonna take a pattern paper and put on top of it. So it's looking like this, and it matches the whole flap thing going on here. So now you have your page like that, really nicely done. Like, you know, you can have 1, 2, 3 space for your photo or for your journaling. And let's move on to the next page, or to the back side. We're going to put the pattern paper on there first. So let's do that first. And I am thinking about, for this whole album, because like I said, I'm not going to decorate it too much, but still want to decorate it a little bit, right? We don't want to just leave it plain like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, every time when I do a page, the front side is going to be in a very simple, clean design of interactive element, but the back side is going to be like a decorative, gorgeous, fancy side with maybe a little bit of decorative, interactive element. So that's what I'm going to do with this back side here, is I'm going to decorate it a bit, and I'm going to use some interactive elements. To spice it up so it's not just decoration. It's going to be like this. Okay, when you flip it over, it's going to be like this, and then we're going to decorate it with some SaCrafters elements or embellishments, of course. And my favorite of all time is the little door. And what we're going to do with the little door, I am not sure, but I am going to use one of it because I love it so much. I love this little door so much. I am going to use this on this mini album. I don't know how, I don't know where, but I'm going to. And I am gonna use a little heart fence here because I think it's cute. I know I'm going to put this piece on there, and I'm going to put some embellishments around here. And I will have this probably like the same way like that, like flapping things open and down. But I'm gonna decorate the outer part, so you couldn't really do anything to the outer part, but you can open it and still do things with the inside. That's what I'm gonna do. So it's gonna be the same construction, like it's going to have the same elements like this, but you can't really do anything to the outside because it's decorated. So let me do that. Let me put this whole element, the same thing, on the back side real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So now I have put the same page thing here on the back side of this page. And now let's get on to the decorating process, because like I said, I am going to use this little door here. Okay, and I don't really care that if you can use the front page or I can use the front page or not, because I'm going to decorate it. So let's see, the door is going to be here. Alright, let's put on some hot glue first because we want the door to be at the bottom. It's okay if the bottom there gets a bit messy because that's going to be covered up. And make sure you, then for the parts that are not going to be covered up, make sure you apply them thinly, like such. Don't put it off this flap though, because you know, if you put it off the flap, then you're gonna shut the whole thing down, and we don't want that. Okay, and again, take your hot glue, put it on top of the little door. Make sure you don't slide this flower off there and stuck down this whole thing. It's very important because I have done that, and you know, so I really watch for things like this, because I'm just not that kind of person that pay attention to details and need to make a mistake once in order to remember it. So yeah, now I remember it and I will not do it again. And more flowers. Now we are not probably going to be using every one of the flower, but it's okay that we just take them out that much just in case that we're going to use them, right? Let's put it on the side. Okay, that looks good there. Like that. And we're gonna stick one there. Again, like I said, make sure you don't slide it off there. So maybe you can just you know, use your finger and do this, so to make sure that it won't stuck down to the page below it, because we don't want that for sure. Okay. And I think we're able to utilize this little fence. Probably not the full length, but I think we're gonna be able to utilize this little thing here. So let's see. We're gonna be able to utilize this much. Yep, perfect. And I'm going to paint it white first, because I want to color it. I think paint white on this side. This side is lighter in color, so it's easier to paint to have it be white. So I don't have to go over it several coats to make it white. Okay. Dry it, so it doesn't take forever. And I am going to use the same blue color to color this fence as I did for the love centerpiece on the front cover. And more water, please. Okay, great. Now we're gonna color it. I love this blue color. I know I've said it, but I love it. I love it so much. I just keep rambling about how much I love this blue color because it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. Alright, I don't have a water dish here, so I'm just going to do this to clean my brush since you don't really have much on there, and I'm gonna use it soon. So, okay. Heat dry it, and I'm gonna put it on there like this, so it looks really good, right? I like it. Okay, it's gonna burn me. I can already feel it. Ouch. That's okay. So what you get from crafting, you gotta be burned to be a real crafter. Now, you have this, and you can choose to either paint this little door white, a little bit like that, and I think I'm going to paint it white because, or not all of it, but you know, just give it some white paint dollars on top of it, just to highlight it a little, so it's not as boring. And you don't have to like make it look perfectly white in color, just to give it some pink stubborn daubing, and you know, if it has some wood color show, then that's fine. If it don't, then that's good. It doesn't matter. So like that, and that's going to be this this page. And if you want to, you can add more sentiment, which I am going to do. I'm going to add, because I know I'm probably going to use this page for my cat. So I'm going to use, and a sentiment says adorable. Oh, my kitty is yelling in the background. It says adorable. Now it's a street sign that Saw has designed recently. It's extremely cute, but of course I'm not going to use the whole thing, so I'm going to snip off the end. Can you turn it over here? Snip off the end, okay? Because, you know, like I said, we're not going to be using the whole thing, and stick it there like such. And I'm not going to color this sign because I want the sign to have this wood color, and a wooden sign is good looking than a white color sign or any other. Okay, now stick it down there like this. Look good, right? Don't you love it? I love it. I think it looks really cute. And then when you open it, it can put pictures, but it was only 2 photo mats instead. However, you know, we already have 3 here. It's okay, right? So let's move on to next page.